So on to tsao number 4, nicknamed the bear, but this is to stretch your spine once again, but all the way down through to your legs, all the way through your ribs. And the exercise looks quite dynamic, but again, as always, do be careful of your own body. You don't need to push yourself in any way. It's not a Western stretch where you're just doing as much as possible. It's actually the opposite. You're just hanging freely, letting the body loose and comfortable as best you can. So first, as if your fingers and crown are being lightly lifted, feel the fascia lightly opening, then the fingers get heavy and start to fall, followed by the rest of the arms. Let your shoulders fall, let your crown fall, and let your body hang down. It's not important how low you go, but it is important that you hang. Avoid tension in the back, avoid tension in the shoulders or the neck, and instead just let your body rest. If you can go lower and by relaxing, then this is okay. Let your body hang. If you can reach the floor, then if you want a better stretch, just cross the arms. You're using the weight of your arms to fall. And oddly, you're using the weight of the head to stretch the neck, the arms to stretch the shoulders, the back to stretch your legs. After a second or two, soften the legs, so you're returning by coming up slightly. Interlock your fingers back to back, then drop down again. Again, it's not important to go low, but just the idea of hanging. Then separate the hands. Soften the legs. You want this idea of sitting down. Then your hips travel forwards to bring the arms back. Let the arms rest. And after a breath, your hips fall again, down onto the ground, so that your body returns to the upright position. Then from here, your left hand behind, turn your waist, energize the fingers as if you're scooping something up, lifting over a ball. Again, after a breath, the elbow and the hip are so heavy that they fall and extend. The other hand can either rest here or aim into the ground. And the idea that you're being pulled out to the distance, but you don't want to get there, so you're also grounding yourself with the other hand rooting into the floor. And a small turn, palm facing down. Try to feel inside the arm, it's being stretched, through the body, into the other hand, it's all being stretched, not with force, but with focus. Let the tail hang, the crown is still light, then relax again. Fingers first, then your palm arrives after. Big temptation is to lift the shoulders, but again, rest as much as possible. Fingers and thumbs open, then release. Change sides, turn. Energize the fingers. You're being lifted, opening up through the body. Try to feel the ribs stretching lightly. And then, as if your elbow and your hip are very heavy, falling down and returning. Focus out and down. Then relaxing through the hips, turn, palm facing down, and you're using your opposite side, your right side in this case, to drive your left arm forwards. So it's not the same side, it's the opposite side drawing. The crown is up, the tail is down, feel the body falling towards the ground. And again, after a breath or so, soften, let the body turn, fingers first, and press as if you're being pulled out into the distance through the lower body. The other hand roots to the ground. And release. So let's do that once more. So still shoulder width distance, a light stretching up, not by pushing, but as if something's pulling you. Your fingers fall, keep your weight slightly forwards in the feet, plummet towards the ground, let your arms hang, your head, your back, your shoulders. Then a small change, softening through the legs to interlock the palms, back to back, and dropping down again. Then separate, falling through the tail as if you're sitting down. That energises the upper body to lift. Your hips travel forwards, the arms rest back. Here, common mistake, as with the earlier exercise on the bamboo, common mistake is to lean backwards. But it's not this way, it's the hips that way. Another tendency is to go forwards with the hips stop, and then we continue with the arms. And this is to be avoided at all costs. We want to genuinely balance one half of the body with another half of the body. So you never need to add anything extra with your arms, but it relates directly to your lower limbs. So this feeling of connection, relationship between the arms and the legs. If you do want to drop the arms more, you can, but it's done from here. So you can soften the legs more. Same thing here, you're not compressing the neck, it's just hanging freely, and your body is open. A common mistake is to hold tension in the back, to hold yourself here. It's not that. It's like you're resting on something really lazy, your hips just free, absolutely supple, and then falling through the front of the body into the front of the legs in order to return. Needless to say, don't hold that position for too long, because tension will build in the back, and the idea, the goal is to lose tension, not to add it to the body. So you're releasing to return. Same again, this light turning of the body, energise the fingers, a light expansion, as if you're being pulled along the floor, up through the wall, up into the sky, and your entire body is being lifted upwards. A common mistake is to lean back, but instead of that, it's like you're being drawn over something rather than through it. So you're not trying to push your arm across or lean the body, you're being expanded, up, growing, and opening. Be careful not to tense the left side of the body, but you're relaxing here so that your body weight can find its way to the ground easily. Then, like you're unravelling something or throwing a dart out into the distance by feeling the weight of the elbow and the hip. So you're falling to expand. The other hand can root to the ground or stay here with the fingers lightly stretched. Now be careful not to lift the shoulders or pull the elbows, but you're resting as much as possible. After one breath, the elbow drives the hip, which is drawn by your knee, palm facing down, and again this side, this half of the body drives this half of the body. And release again, as if you're taking pressure off the spring, fingers first. It's like your hand arrives, your fingers arrive, and then the palm arrives after. And be careful not to push. It's not a pushing action which tends to throw the body weight over, it's a falling action in which case your body falls underneath. If you do it well, you'll feel a stretch internally, you can feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but it's not a physical push, It's a falling, and the intention goes out. Then as if a spring connects one arm to the other through the shoulders, release that spring to do the other side. Turn. Energize. You're being pulled up through the wall, up into the sky. Let your body expand and grow. Be careful not to lock the right side, but instead rest, so you're free all the time. Your eyes more or less gazing at your palm or through your hand, and then falling down again. Energize, connect, rest. And the elbow presses the hip, which is drawn by the knee. Fingers first. Now the right side draws you out. Fingers and thumbs lightly expanded, but the shoulders and elbows resting. And again, release. Fingers first, palm after. And release. And closing.